Good morning, everyone. Welcome to QuestionPro Office Hours. It is Monday, March 28th, and we are so excited that you're joining us live to ask us anything. While you can ask us anything, we do try to keep these sessions themed because, we want to add value and not just be answering the same questions every week. So please feel free to drop any question into the comments, or if you submitted them ahead of time, we will be answering them. But we will be going off this fun topic that Adrian suggested last month about why marketing matters for your surveys. And as the director of marketing here at QuestionPro, I feel pretty excited about this topic, so much so that I actually pre-prepared a slide deck just so that we had something available to talk about, and have brought along Adrian Mendez, head of customer success, so we can have some probably hot takes, I would say, maybe some different approaches to how we use surveys and marketing together, and how you market your surveys to respondents and to your internal stakeholders. Adrian, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me and for taking my opinion, I guess, as an entire office hours topic. And good evening to everyone else who's joining in from the other parts of the globe. I kind of want to say this because every time that music comes in, like there's an innate voice inside me that goes, "Welcome to today. We are live from Pune, Maharashtra. The temperature outside is 87 degrees today."
I love that. We could be television hosts, Adrian.
We should. Let's send our applications out to BBC.
Thanks so much for joining us tonight, Adrian, or your night, my morning. I really appreciate it. And if you're joining us, let us know where you're from in the comments. As Adrian mentioned, he is in Pune, India, and I am in Austin, Texas, though our weather some days seems awfully similar, even though we're on other parts of the globe.
For those of you who joined from Canada, I know it's pretty chilly, but the grass is always green on the other side. So we want to be in that temperature right now. So we're in good company.
If you guys have a question, also drop those in the comments and we'll be monitoring your questions. And if you didn't know about the QuestionPro platform, or you're new with us, you've just been signed up for Essentials or one or other more advanced licenses like Advanced or Team Edition, we have other products available, from our research suite to our customer experience platform and our workforce employee experience platform, all which come with their own unique surveying abilities and really give you the tools you need to create the ultimate insights for your company and your team. Adrian, which product is your favorite?
Has to be the research suite.
I know, but I thought it might be a plot twist.
No, it would. I mean, I love the research suite just because of the flexibility that it offers, and also its versatility. Like, if you really learn how to do it, you can achieve a lot of things on the research suite itself. And I've actually seen that the way people go crazy the minute they learn the nuances, the kind of small little hacks, the tips and the tricks of how to navigate the suite. It is amazing. And the amount of insights and data that you get, oh my God, you need to hire an entire team to deal with that information. And I'm not even kidding.
True. But they I would say, I think that my other favorite platform, not favorite, they're all my favorite. All platforms are created. But I was like, wait, never mind. Take it back. So we're going to start going. But before we get started, we do have a couple questions we're going to answer. And some of them are very much design or, marketing themed. And so I'm just going to pop into we keep a little question bank. I'm going to pop in here, and looks like we have one question that we'll grab at the end. And then we'll, at the beginning, the first question is, which channel for marketing works best typically to promote your survey. And we'll talk about that in the distribution side. And I was hoping, I think Adrian will do a couple little demos for us about when we'll be hopping back and forth between the slide deck
The deck
and
and the slide, yeah.
platform. Yeah. So that we can really show you guys how easy it is to do what we're talking about. So why should you care about marketing when you do your surveys? Well,
The most
Adrian, you're going to answer it. I was going to answer myself.
Yeah.
You go.
Yeah, because you would definitely have like a very in-depth answer. And my take on why you absolutely everyone, whether it's internal, external, in extraterrestrial, if you've reached that stage already, you need people. You need people, you need good respondents, you need legit respondents. You want to reach out to the market for whom you are doing the survey. Because think about it this way. You are trying to collect data to supply back to a certain segment. But if that segment is not taking your survey, your analytics don't make any sense. So your marketing has to be targeted. You have to learn to sell your survey, because in the data that you get, you will know how much you're going to be selling your product or your service after that.
Right. And I think that a way by making, like, we'll talk a little bit about that in distribution. And so what I also realize is, like, as we're targeting your target demographic, they have to know who you are. And some real basics of that are by adding your brand and logo information and creating trust and using your brand equity to encourage your customers or your target audience to respond. And what I hear a lot in marketing is, like, marketers aren't designers, which is true. Like, designers have a beautiful place in the world, but make sure you, collaborate with them to make sure that the survey you're designing would look like something they would want to take, because everyone will remember a bad design. No one will remember a good design, because it just, well,
True.
I mean, they might, but it will fall into the background. And your company probably has brand guidelines. So it's super easy. Just like ping someone on Slack and say, hey, what are our brand guidelines? I'd love to use that in my surveys over time, and don't overdo it. I put this as a point because I really wanted to drive this home, is don't overdo the color palette sometimes, because I think so often we will kind of like be like, we want to do all the different colors. We want to do everything over and over. Sometimes simple is better. And you can see here on this QuestionPro example how it's super simple. And then you can have other options where you have your like a picture behind it, or you have, a color behind it. Just be careful when you're doing that, because it can be what's the word?
It can be unknowing sometimes. Yeah. That's the word you're looking for.
Right. Now, Adrian, you said you were having a little trouble with your bandwidth, so I'm happy to share my screen if we want to use that, or because I was going to show people how to add the logo in.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Let's use your screen.
Oh
and
man, this
everyone,
is going to be
this is going to be. This is the
this is going to be.
first live demo by Crystal Weiss.
I know.
Stay tuned.
Okay, stay tuned. Let me drag my screen over. Okay, here we go. I'm going to use this.
While Crystal is bringing that up, I want to add one more thing to why branding marketing is important for your survey. And this is more of a recent addition. It was not a part before. It was not a consideration before. It's more right now. It's because as you send your surveys out to your key demographic, people, employees, existing clients, they need to be able to identify you explicitly and know that you are not a spammer, you're not a scammer, you're not trying to fish them. Yep. So you having key attributes which are identifiable, which will pop out and say, will help your user base tell the difference between you and someone who's trying to scam them, is absolutely important. So give good focus on making sure that your brand is aligned, because only you know your guidelines and anyone else can imitate them. So have like key differences is what I would say.
That is a great takeaway, especially with all the phishing and like sketchy emails people get these days.
Absolutely.
So here we are inside of the survey platform. I'm actually using a survey I made for our IIEX event, where you can find us in Austin, Texas on April 19th and 20th. It's one of the biggest market research events in the States, hosted by Greenbook, and we will be there. And if you want to set a meeting with us, you can fill out the survey I made.
Oh, I love the plug there. But Chris, question, who can attend the IIEX? This is for everyone who's here.
Oh, okay. So IIEX is mostly attended by market researchers and practitioners, and we'll be hosting a booth. We're hosting a lounge. Our head of, I don't know why I said it like that. Our head of audience will be also talking about how your surveys are excluding people with disabilities, which is going to be a super hot take. And Tim will be talking about that on Tuesday at 3:00. So if you're a practitioner and you want to, like, I don't know, get a pulse on the new market research trends and where the market is going, come hang out with us at IIEX. It's going to be a great time. I'll be there.
Awesome.
Okay. Here is, if you are setting up your survey, Adrian, you're going to have to tell me if I'm doing this wrong. Okay. You go into here, and this is like your workspace where you're building the questions. And then, you add all these questions in, and you're like, okay, I want to add a logo, because typically this isn't up here, right? I can remove this. And this is what it looks like at the beginning. So what I did was you just go in here. You can either upload it from your files, or like I'm going to show you right now, all your downloads, or you can have images already uploaded into your drive. Media library. And then you just click on that and save the changes. And what happened was it was huge. And I was like, I don't want it that big. So you just drag it and make it a little bit more appropriately sized so it doesn't hurt anybody's eyeballs. And that's how you add the logo. It was that easy. And that is just one simple little thing that you can do to make sure that your survey respondents know where the survey is coming from. Now, if you want to dive in a little bit farther, you hit this design button, and that will take you to, I'm not going to say infinite options, but definitely come with a plan. Here you can pick a theme that's already embedded, like this purple theme or this red theme. We're going to stick with QuestionPro Blue because we're really committed to our brand standards. And you can also pick accessibility themes for, making questions easier to answer. You can pick your font. Fire Sans is actually our company font, which makes me laugh that it's at the top. I love that. And make sure you're picking a web-friendly font, or you can build your own custom themed. Now, if I was your marketing team or your design team, this is where I'd want to make sure that you're putting in the right hex code colors, that you're not like making things like making this black. And then if you save it, look what happens. Like, that's not great. Don't do this.
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
And so this is really where you can have the most fun, or you could go down a different kind of road here. So you can, how many custom themes can we make, Adrian?
I don't think there's a limit on it.
Ooh, that's fun. So if you were,
but I would also say don't go all crazy in having like many custom themes, because at the end of the day, you want to keep, like I said, consistency is key. Brand, you want to stay consistent in your delivery. So try to find about 3 or 4 that work for this kind of surveys that you do, or the reach outs that you're going to be doing, or the type of reach out that you're going to be doing. I've seen this as an actual example. One of my really dear clients do it. They have themes based on the tone of the survey. So if they are doing a product feedback, then they would go for a certain color. If they are doing like a package design, then they go for a certain color. And it's surprising that we've actually seen feedback coming from the members of that particular community, telling that they identify the survey just by looking at the color that the survey opens up in, and they know whether they want to take it or they don't want to take it.
That's awesome. So you could actually even train your respondents to know, hey, when it's these colors, it's this kind of survey. When it's these colors, it's this kind of survey.
Absolutely. It was ingenious, and that idea came directly from their marketing team.
I love that. Well, we're gonna default this back because I was playing around too much.
Okay. For those of you who are wondering, the accessible team, that is also a 508 compliance. In case you're wondering, how do I keep my survey compliant, but I have the team to go with it? You need to use the accessible team. So you're 508 compliant, your survey is looking good, sounding good, feeling good to everyone, however enabled they are.
And if anyone is just as a feature update, our classic themed progress bar is now also 508 compliant because we have added a percentage completion, not just a visual bar. And so we just launched that in February. So if you're looking for a progress bar under 508 compliance, make sure you use classic.
Awesome.
I just put that in the newsletter. That's why I know that. So yeah, you guys, like, there is a lot of things you can do in here. Make sure, one, just like when you're building a survey, you write all your, questions out ahead of time. You have a programming plan. Just like when you have a programming plan, make sure you have a design plan. Get in sync with your marketing team, get in sync with your design team. And to Adrian's point, there are a lot of really powerful ways that you can use design to communicate with your customer. So don't get scared, but get excited, because design is just like the subtle art of marketing. And I just love it. But that's because I love marketing too. So now that we've gone through that, let's go back. I'm going to pop this in there.
Before we go in, a couple of questions that I know that a lot of users have asked, a lot of clients have asked, and I think just for the broad spectrum. So the first question is on the logo that I get asked very often is, if you are doing a co-branding survey, so it is, let's say, QuestionPro in sponsorship with Iiex, and we need Iiex and QuestionPro logo right next to each other. You will need your design team to do that, because now, why am I saying that? There is a way to do it on QuestionPro. You can go into the header and add both the images and then put them all together, but then you would be working those angles. I recommend to everyone who's asked me this, that go to your design team, ask them to create one coherent combination of logo that will render on all devices very well, and it will suit the brand accessibility for both the brands. Right? You need to be respectable of the person who you're co-branding with. So
upload one image of both the logos.
Yes.
So have them, use Canva or InDesign or Illustrator and create one PNG ideally, and then you can upload that to your media library and use that.
At that point, I want to say this entire streaming session is not sponsored by Canva.
I love Canva.
I just wanted to say it out there.
Not sponsored by Canva. Sponsored by QuestionPro. Okay, what's your other hot take on? Not hot take. Your other suggestion for branding surveys? What are other questions that people ask you?
Okay, so the next question that I get often asked is the title of the survey with the logo of the survey, right? Now again, it is very, very subjective. If your logo is very loud, like for example, QuestionPro, right? if I'm using the logo that Crystal has used, I would usually not go with a title of the survey. I'd rather keep it in the name of the survey so that on the browser I see it, because it's too much font going on at the header space. That's my
Mm.
recommendation. Now, if I was going only with the P of question, so the whole question P
Oh,
block,
I see what you're
you see
doing.
what happened there? Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm going only with the symbol, then I would keep the title. Absolutely, I would keep the title at that point of time.
I should have
Uh,
consulted you. Why are we doing this?
wait, that I thought that's what the office hours are for, Crystal. We're
For
consulting right now
Crystal
with each other.
also to learn. And the reason this is in black and white is because we have the accessibility turned on. So what you're saying
Right.
is go like this, and then
Mhm.
let's preview it like that. Like this.
Right.
Okay, great.
Awesome. Okay. Now the next question that I get asked is it's mostly about the progress bar. And a lot of clients have asked us that I don't want the progress bar to be up top because it interferes with my brand consideration. And that's completely fine. I think that's one of the questions that Crystal has just answered. We have different design types where you can change the progress bar that fits within your design acceptance levels. And it's completely fine, right? Test it out. It's completely fine.
You can also
My
pick none.
recommendation, yeah, you can say none, but again, my personal recommendation, don't leave your respondents hanging because they really don't know how many pages they need to click on. So you want to
Mhm.
keep them motivated, right? The
I
whole
abandoned
concept
the
about having
survey the other day because I didn't know how long it was, how much was left.
exactly like after the first two pages, most of them, if you've not told them how many pages, or if there's no indicator of any sort of how many more questions are going to come, a lot of them are going to start dropping off.
Look how customizable these surveys are. There's so many options.
Yeah, so these are all recent changes, Crystal. So we have sticky and non-sticky. Sticky, basically, the bar will remain as you scroll up. Non-sticky, the bar will scroll up as the page scrolls up. So all of these changes were brought in because we've seen the importance of brand consideration, and just the design that a survey can have in motivating your respondents take more responses on your survey. At the end of the day, the entire conversation or this entire conversation is actually based on the fact that your respondents should be able to take the survey in a comfortable, acceptable, understandable way.
Yeah, agreed.
Awesome.
Sorry, I was like clicking buttons while you were talking. I got so excited. Look at all these things you can do.
Awesome. All right. So that's that. Those are the only questions I can think of at least. But if they come up, my brain kind of works differently. So if they come up, I'll put them. Oh yeah, there's a key. There was one of the questions. So we have a social media toolbar. That's a part of the survey design itself. If your brand team recommends having it, keep it. Um,
If not, you can
I
turn it on.
don't Yeah, I would recommend turning it off. Now, here's why I say turn off the social media if it's not going to help you, right?
Right.
Is because we don't want the respondent to be distracted while they're taking the survey.
Yes.
So we don't want them clicking on Twitter and Facebook and then forgetting that there's a survey to be taken. That's the only reason why I would say that. But then again, and I've seen this as well, if the trick is to drive traffic and you don't care about the data as much, then go for
Yep.
it. Give them those links, let them click away.
Yeah. And we'll talk about that a little bit in distribution here in a second. But, and then to kind of finish up the design side is put yourself in the respondent's shoes. Make sure you have clear instructions on your survey, ask screening questions, make sure they're qualified, put the most important questions first. Don't forget mobile, which I know so many people, you're programming on a desktop, but most respondents are going to be on mobile. Have a great thank you page like this, not designed in Canva. Or design it in Canva. That's fine too. And then thank them for your time, right? If you're not, which we'll talk about in distribution too. Man, a lot of this has to do with distribution. Just make
Absolutely.
sure you write a nice little thank you, and you can make that in the finish options. Yes, look at that. And so you can see that I put like a little tagline in here, but there's also, you can redirect them, forward to a friend. There's a lot of other advanced options depending on what license you're on. You can put an image. Hold on. Ta-da! Like you could put a thank you image in like we have on the example. And so make sure that people feel valued and you leave a good brand impression once they finish their survey.
Okay, this brings me to one of the questions is, what is, so a lot of the respondents come in and what do I say in the thank you, in the thank you page? Do I just say thank you? Do I need to give any kind of information? This is a very common question that comes up because it can be unnerving. What do I say to the respondents after it's all over and I'm not going to be giving them any money for their time, right?
Right. Or rewards.
Or rewards, right? So the simplest thing that you can do is, like Crystal said, put yourself in the shoes of your respondent. A thank you with the appreciation that they actually took the time to answer the survey, which at some point is going to benefit them. That message, a clear message with clear branding. So the logo, I recommend always having the logo on your thank you page. It just adds that much more value, shows your respondent that it is
Don't put it that
important.
big, though.
Right. You can put it up though. I mean, and then you have the message. And the last thing is, if there are any clear instructions. So the way Crystal has re-emphasized, see you at IIEX in Austin, Texas. Now that is re-emphasis of something that the survey was for. I would recommend adding in some more details, like Crystal said, that there'd be a session at a certain time. Maybe that a little bit, or a link that can be clicked. That would be a good thing to do. Or if your respondent is expecting next steps. So if you're doing like a drip survey, or if you're doing like a sign up survey, let them know what to expect. That, hey, you're going to be getting a call after like a day or 2 days or 3 days or whatever. And this is what you can expect, or this is what is going to happen, or this is where we're going to use your data. That usually is a good giveaway to your respondents. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate the efforts and the honest feedback you've given. Your survey is going to help us streamline our schedule to make sure that we meet you at the event. Now, that's putting a lot of value to your respondents. So your thank you message has to be concise, has to be around adding value to the respondents' time that they've given you.
No, I'm taking note.
That's
I'm
all I have to
literally
say.
doing it as you're telling me.
It just, again, it's more recall values. In marketing, you're talking about recall value. We are literally telling them to recall everything that we just spoke about throughout the survey. So that's like a key question that gets asked a lot of times as we go along. Now, I'm pretty sure that there will be a question as to when do I do a redirect and when do I do a thank you page. Now, again, do a thank you page when the data is all that you wanted. You did not want anything more than that. A thank you page is good enough, showing your appreciation. A redirect or an automatic redirect is very good if you want to drive traffic to some other portal. So I've taken a survey, for example, I've taken a survey that will help my city improve its public healthcare system. For example, I know that there are several government organizations that are actually going the next step and doing this. For them, what they would do is they would, after the survey is over, they would typically redirect their citizens to the charter of new progresses that are going on in the city. Why? Because they want to inform the respondent of what's new. So if you want to drive that traffic, if you want to show them this is something else you can do, use a redirect at that point of time. I've seen a lot of clients use just their company's website as a redirect. Guess what that's going to do? That's going to drive traffic to your website. Yes.
Yeah.
That's about it, because they don't know what else to do, right? And
Yeah.
just imagine what's going on with the marketing manager's head, because this person is seeing traffic come into the site, but nothing's happening.
Yep.
So
we exclude traffic on this UTM. Like we have that set up, so it's like not, we don't get, so people don't accidentally come to us from a survey.
Yeah, there you go. So to talk to your marketing people, talk to your design people. Make sure that you are in complete sync because this is an ecosystem that we are all working in.
Yep. Awesome. Those are great. Oh, I was just clicking on the wrong screen trying to change that. I was just clicking on. Anyways,
Oh gosh.
I think I did not have enough coffee this morning. Okay, so here we go. And that is that kind of, this first step. So now we're going to talk about distribution. We try to keep these really simple just so that you have actionable things, which is why we're kind of switching between a slide deck and the actual product demo itself. And so please make sure to ask us questions. I know we actually try and cover a lot. Adrian and I do our best to really kind of brief beforehand and talk, okay, what are the main topics, and really cover all the idiosyncrasies. That's where I think the value of office hours and having people submit questions come ahead of time, or having, the customer success, manager Adrian here to really I was like, wait, your title to really be here to drive the little nuances home. And so now we're going to talk about how marketing your survey to respondents, even if I want to drive this point home, even if you have an email list and you have customers and you have a social media following, it does not guarantee that they care about you enough to answer your survey.
Oh, that was harsh.
I know. I feel so bad, but that's how I feel. Like, I know that I flew Southwest home on Friday and they sent me a survey and I abandoned it halfway through because I was like, this is too long. And this is and I like flying Southwest or my FabFitFun box. I've somehow gotten I get a survey a week from them. I must have hit some sort of panel.
Mhm.
And so how can you market to your customers for your survey? You're marketing to your customers and potential customers for your product lines. Make sure to apply those same marketing tactics to when you're trying to get your survey taken, which also goes back to programming your survey in the beginning, making sure you have qualifying questions and that you're getting the right demographic. Because if you're going to send your survey out into the wild, you don't know exactly where it's going to end up, but here are some ways to send it into the wild. You can put it in your newsletter. You can send an email blast. You can either embed the survey in your marketing automation system, or you can upload a list into QuestionPro and email out from there. You can use that social media buttons. You can write a blog and share the blog with the survey in it. You could do text messages. I mean, there's not infinite. There's a finite amount of ways to distribute a survey, but there's infinite possibilities on where it will go. And so make sure that you're thinking about it in the same way that you think about marketing to your customers. Now, Adrian,
Yes.
I'm sure you have some ideas on this.
Several, because it comes down. So when we talk about distribution, my head immediately goes on the security side of it, because in the past couple of months, this is a side that we've been exploring a lot in QuestionPro, because we are getting to hear a lot of new measures that are being taken to ensure that your respondents' data, their privacy is secured to a very high level. So whenever you're trying distribution with the marketing content, when you have a lot of, so number one, brand your send outs always. Your email has to be branded in a similar format that your in organization emails are branded to your clients. Do a test, do a spam test always, because now why am I saying that is because and this will go a little into IT side of it, but remember one thing: your email is going from QuestionPro servers, right? It's not going from your internal servers. So if your IT policies are not set up correctly, your survey invitation could land up in spam. So
Yeah.
ensure that you've taken a good test on a generic email domain like a Gmail. Gmail is a good domain to test because they usually keep updating their security every now and then. So that's a good place to test. Yahoo is another one that's a very high security. You can try those. Try a local one if you have. So I know in Canada, Shaw.ca is one is a local provider, try that. I mean, it would really help to show you whether the email you're creating is even acceptable from an IT standpoint. So get your IT team involved when you do the send out and you see emails landing up in spam. You usually would need a demarcation done. Reach out to your customer success for additional details. Um, so that's one thing. When you're doing, so as Crystal said, when you're doing a newsletter based send out, so when your survey is embedded within a newsletter, you have a link. Understand one thing is you are keeping your survey open to general traffic, which can be legit or it can be spam, right?
Right.
Ensure that you have security measures within your survey. If you're going to be doing this kind of a general send out, have like a captcha, connect, or if you are on the research edition, ensure that you have data quality parameters turned on because you are safeguarding yourself at that time. At the same time, you are literally telling your respondents that you care about their security and their safety. So it's
Yep.
really, really important. Um,
Something else
in
that
my
you
opinion,
may,
yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
I was going to say something else. Do not forget QR codes have made a comeback, y'all. They're
Yeah.
contactless. You can download this and then put this in. You can send this to your design team and they can work it into designs for whether it's menus or, any kind of takeaway at a trade show booth or literally any experience where someone wants to be able to scan it. I do not recommend using a QR code on social media. I know that it's out there now, but it does not make any sense when people are on their phone because they cannot scan a QR code that they see on their phone while they're using their phone.
So, thank you. That was literally going to be my tip. Please do not take this QR code and put it up on Instagram. That's not going to work.
It doesn't make any sense. So just remember that. Remember the usage, remember your respondents' use case, because if they're on their phone looking at Instagram and they see a QR code, they don't have another phone to scan the QR code. Typically only one person has one phone, unless, I mean, I don't know. I only have one. So,
unless you're roaming like in a group, but no, don't try it. She's right. Don't try it.
But some other ways are obviously using this URL up here. You can hyperlink it in your newsletters and it'll take them straight to this landing page where Adrian was talking about making sure you have captchas or certain security measures and before, because you don't want to get spammy people. And all of those are available under this distribution tab. And then of course there's the basics like LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter.
Yep. And a pro tip over here is, again, it's not my opinion, but it's something that I've seen. So I kind of feel obligated that I need to share it. So there were about a couple of campaigns that certain clients rather did on Twitter with the link, right? If you're trying to collect effective data that should not have bias involved in it, do not use social media because commenting, liking, sharing, subscribing is a thing.
Right.
And the minute you have comments going on, you'd have other people trying to take the link and stay within the bias. So you don't want to include bias in your survey. So if you are doing data-driven research, do not put it on social media. Have it sent to a targeted email group, or if you don't have the email group, reach out to QuestionPro audience. We will get you the target group at whatever price is convenient. And we also have a new DIY do-it-yourself audience management system, which you can try out. So yeah, we already have that. Yeah, and if you want to know more, you can talk to Tim at the upcoming. Oh yeah, you can talk to Tim at the upcoming event that Crystal said to get more information of how to do it. But then coming back to the topic is, if like Crystal is sending out a form of all the people who want to meet us at the event, right? That's okay to go on social media because again, it's not about bias. It's just getting information.
Yep.
If your survey is about information, go ahead with social media. Twitter is a good place to get good number of responses, just because, and ensure you hashtag it well. That's one thing I'll tell you. Ensure you hashtag your tweet with the link really well. It will drive a lot of people in there. One additional tip to that is ensure that your introduction page. So when I click on the link, I have this amazing tweet that showed up. I clicked on the link. My introduction should be really good. It should be appealing to me to continue. So get your marketing content person on there to write a really catchy welcome statement for you so that they can continue. Your respondent needs to continue taking the survey ahead. So those are the pro tips that I'll give you.
I love that. And another thing that we found great, especially during X Day, is everybody loves a $5 Starbucks card. Can go a long way. Because again, why should your respondents fill out your surveys? Like,
Absolutely.
do they have an opinion that they want to share? But you don't want just negative opinions. You want positive ones too. Something that even hooked me when I was looking at coming to QuestionPro to work here was Eric, our COO. He hooked me with something saying, every time that you don't fill out a survey of a company or a product that you pay for money for, or you're invested in, it's like giving up your right to vote in that company. And I was like, oh, got me. Which is now why I try my best to fill out surveys whenever I get them. And I don't do it perfectly because sometimes I abandon them in the middle. But, if I got a $5 Starbucks card, I would probably go all the way to the end. Something else. Oh,
pro tip on that. So whenever you're doing rewards and survey, again, from a very branding perspective, I've been asked this question. I don't want it to look like I'm bribing my respondent. So when you're doing a reward, no, because we don't want that kind of, we don't want that kind of publicity. The thing is, if the survey goes well and you get positive feedback, it is going to be attributed to the fact that you bribed them. If it goes negative, then again, you'll get a lashback from the same number of people that, hey, you know what, even if your $5 did not work because you also. Again, the point of giving rewards is not to bribe the opinion. Again, I'll say this, get your marketing content team on spot over there and ask them to formulate a very nice one-liner, which they're really good at that, and I've used that. Where the $5 or the gift card rather that you're trying to give out is a token of appreciation for the time taken, not the opinion and the feedback, but the time taken to give the feedback, right? So get your marketing people. They have a lot of work to do on your survey, even after you've created the survey.
Yeah. Because I think that's definitely right. A good thing to reiterate. And it kind of shows the purpose. It talks about just like people want to share their ideas and comments with you with purpose, for a purpose. And as long as you're clear about what that purpose is and what the purpose of the reward is, hopefully people will read the words.
Yeah.
That is one thing that marketers cannot ensure. We can write the best content, but we cannot ensure that consumers read it. And then something else I really love doing is I really like taking surveys where I can see all the results, simply because I love data. And so I like being able to see what other people are saying. This is very rare that places will share their survey results with you after you take a survey. But again, depending on the goals of your survey, this might be a really free, easy giveaway that because you're doing an exchange with people, right? When you're sending out a survey, you're asking them for their opinions and their comments and their time in exchange for X. And you have to think about what that exchange is. In marketing, that's all what it's about for us. We're always thinking about, okay, when we post on social media, what's the exchange between the reader and our content? What's the exchange between our sales collateral and the, offer that they're getting? Giving something away that doesn't hurt you can help you a lot more than you realize.
Right. But okay, I have a question for you, Crystal, on that. Yeah. Right? I have a question for you on this. All right. So let's see. Let's put in. So now this is coming from a very personal space for me because I reach out to you when I need help in getting the marketing part of the survey is going really well. And often you've seen that I cannot articulate myself properly to exactly what I want. And you end up asking me a series of questions, and then you know that, oh, this is the image that I'm looking for, or this is the abstract that I'm looking for. So for our fellow researchers who around the globe are right now listening to you, if they need to go to their marketing team and ask for, let's say, the introduction text and the thank you text, right? I'll just take those two examples.
Right.
What's the best? What are how do they approach their marketing team, and what do they need to tell them?
I mean, there's a couple ways depending on how your team communicates. Either I would say like Slack or an email, but Slack, we use just Slack more as a chat function. So,
Yeah.
send an email, give a clear deadline of when you need the content by and how long it should be, or, take a screenshot of where it's going to go. A lot of marketers are very visual. And so we want to say like, hey, I need a blurb that goes here. And that's maybe, this is 50 words or how many characters it needs to be, right? Because we also think in characters. And then say the goal, and then tell me what the goal of the survey is. How should I craft the message? What goal are you looking for? And then say, goal of the survey is to get respondents to respond to our topic or questions about X. Because then we can start framing the phrase or the, intros the way we need it to do. But the base, like you've got to give us basic information, like how many words, when do you need it, and what's the purpose? Doing that, like, will keep us from doing some sort of email exchange that's like, okay, what do you need? Da 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 da. And we'll also, if you can say like, hey, thanks so much, like, again, when you're reaching out to a marketing team, it's an exchange, right? You're asking for something from them and like making sure that they know that their time and their thoughts are valued, or even sharing the results with us because marketers love data.
Awesome. Everyone, Crystal V is director of QuestionPro Marketing. There you go. So now you know why she's at the top of her game. If you have questions, reach out to her on LinkedIn. And I think I'll put this out there. If any one of you, if all of you, if you'll want Crystal to write a blog about how do you reach out to marketing, to get something for your survey, please do leave that in the comment section. I will ensure that I'm on Crystal's back so she writes that down for you.
It's like, I think sometimes people think that people in marketing are so busy or they're too creative or they're this or they're that, but really we're here to help, right?
Now,
Like,
I was one of them, all right?
What?
I was one of them.
We're here to help.
Yeah, but it's intimidating to reach out and then get asked questions. So what's your goal? What do you want? I'm like, I just want a line in the survey. I've broken past that right now, but I'm just saying it can be intimidating sometimes.
Yeah. If you don't know what you want, does the survey matter?
There you go. See?
If a survey is fielded but nothing changed from the insights, did the survey really happen?
No. No.
So this is, as we are finishing up in these last 10 minutes, like this is probably something that we've talked about a lot as we're going through. And now is, how do you market your insights internally to your teams? Like, why does this matter? And I think, or even to your customers. And, I'm using an example here of actually a report that the workforce team did and how well designed the report was, and then how well designed their external and internal collateral was to get the team kind of hyped about it. And the insights were super digestible inside of the report that I even used them in reference, I think, on a town hall internally. Right.
Yeah,
and so
I remember that.
If you're working away on a market research team and feel like your insights are being overlooked or change is not happening from your insights because you are getting possibly steamrolled by the marketing team because we're a little bit more rambunctious, or by the product team because they're a little bit more aggressive, do what you can to, you don't have to be an extrovert. I'm not an extrovert. I know it's like a trick. I'm not an extrovert, but you have to learn to advocate for yourself and for your insights and put them in the
Yep.
sight lines in digestible formats for your team. And if you need to work with the marketing team to say like, hey, did this cool survey. How do we make it matter internally? Again, marketers are great at marketing things.
Hmm. Yeah, get them. Get
So
them to create your reports. I would say that yes, yes. Get them to create your infographics. Or so
yeah.
for people who are looking for terms, infographics, data visualization. Get your marketing team involved after you have crunched the numbers. They will
Mm-hmm.
tell you what's the best, how people will understand those. Basically, I mean, we understand numbers. A lot of the analysts understand numbers. The business heads understand numbers. But if you send it down to the product, someone who's come new, talk about a fresher who's just joined in, who's supposed to be working on a key project in your organization, how the hell will he understand the numbers because he's just joined?
Right.
So have it designed for very basic understanding.
Yep. And I think you have to approach it like a mini marketing campaign inside your
Yeah.
own company. Right. And so
Mhm.
I've written down some ideas here, like hosting a lunch and learn, and not like a lunch and learn where people come and spend their lunch with you, like actually buy them lunch if you're going to trap them in a room or on a Zoom
Mhm.
call. And, work with your team. Look about how your company best communicates. Is it over Slack? Is it over email? Is it over Microsoft Teams? And how can you get your narrative in there on the random channel or the wins channel? So, we have a wins channel where it's like, hey, this like person did this, shout out. You could shout
Yeah.
out your own team with an attachment. And I think this is the biggest thing that Adrian and I, and probably why our friendship has blossomed, is finding an internal champion that's not on your team. Everyone needs a cheerleader. I love cheerlead. I was not actually a cheerleader, but you can find someone who recognizes your passion and then can reflect that to other people.
Yeah.
Find someone that's like your amplifier, especially if that's not your natural state.
Right. Right. I advocate for that. Absolutely. Everyone in my team, that's something I tell everyone in my team, all the CSMs that I work with, like, please go find yourself someone who is not in the team, uh, who you can talk to about what you're doing, and they can give you legit, non-judgmental, not rude in a way that it's not cynical. They're not trying to pull you down. They just want the betterment of you. Find that person around you. And that's the same thing that you need to do with the organization as well. When you have data collected on your survey, advocate it, send it out, get
Mhm.
actual feedback. I mean, you never know. Maybe you're reporting on statistics that don't matter until someone doesn't come and tell you that, hey, listen, I'm not interested in knowing what the gender of these people are. I'm just interested in knowing how they like it. That's
Yeah.
going to be really important.
And use the systems that you have in, QuestionPro. What I
Hmm.
think obviously you can create custom dashboards and, create opportunities for people to see the analytics come in live time. I think that's one of my favorite things to watch is when we field a
Right.
survey, you can enable live reporting. And that is a way to get
Right.
buy-in on your survey early. So,
Okay.
oh, sorry.
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Because I like that is you could, oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen again. You could distribute this into a Slack. Let's say you field a survey and it's like,
Hmm.
who I just got like a FabFitFun survey that's about the last year, this last box I got. And it's like a subscription service. Internally, if I was trying to get some champions, I would just share this out on a Slack channel and say, like, hey, just fielded a new survey. Let's watch the respondents come in. And then whoever is like interested can just click on that. And even though the survey's this might not be like, I don't know, market research best practices because you're not giving insights with the data, but people who are going to be interested in just watching the data roll in and how it changes and like where it's
Yeah.
coming from and the kind of off the cuff narratives that come in before the market research team polishes it, could also be a really easy way to find buy-in from your team.
And it's not strictly speaking market research best practice, but the live data that comes in can be used in several different ways. And back in 2019, when physical meetings and physical presence were a thing and physical ballot were a thing, QuestionPro did participate in a live cast ballot to show non-biased response, where the live dashboard was screened out as the votes were coming in. So no one could come back and say that, oh, this was not whatever. It's not staged data. There was no fixing done at the end. A set of voters went in, and the set of voters came out, and the data kept updating itself on a live dashboard for everyone to see. So yeah, there are ways you can use it.
Yeah. I think that live dashboards are a great way to internally pump up your team and create that internal champion who will be there to, take your insights to the next level. So that's all we have, folks.
Awesome.
Dude,
3 minutes.
5 minutes.
Really, 3 minutes. I think this is the most we've spoken in an hour. And that too, strictly topic related, right? But I think that it just shows how passionate we are about like this marriage between data and visualization.
It's true. And if you're a customer of QuestionPro and you have questions, you can always shoot me an email or hit up your account manager. Adrian's on this side. Hit up your account manager to, have them walk you through this kind of next level. We know that your market research professionals and practitioners and your surveys are so great. We would hate for them to get lost in the shuffle. And so use marketing or your marketing team or your design team to really take them to the next level and show the world the insights you've gathered.
Yeah, and if you're on the research suite, it's a package. So your onboarding involves your customer success manager walking you through the best practices. If these are some of the things that are on your mind, like what's the limit of these images that I can use? What are the data types? What are the format types that I can use? Make sure you send a list out to them. We have a lot of help files in our knowledge center that detail these, but again, if you're on the research suite, your dedicated customer success manager is going to walk you through all these steps right at the onboarding. He's going to share with you your must-haves, things that you need to check on before you get a survey out, the things that you need to look at when you get a data, the kind of risk that we've seen in current day. So here's a catch. There's a difference between risk we've seen throughout and risk we've seen current day. So when you do have your onboarding with your customer success manager and he spells out certain risks with you, that is of current day. 3 months down the line, if something changes, give him the benefit of the doubt that 3 months down the line, you've not yet connected with him to rerun your risk. So try to meet with your manager once, or your point of contact at least once in 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, whatever works for your schedule, so that you are up to date on the current risk. And make sure you call that out. If you don't call that out, he will not know what you're looking for. Similarly, like the Crystal said, if you don't put your objective out, the marketing team is not going to be able to help you get an effective thank you message, get an effective branding, get an effective logo. So it's the same relationship that goes in and out.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks so much, Adrian, for joining us. And we will be back next month on April 25th, chatting about, I have an idea, but I haven't ran it by Adrian yet, so I'm not going to say it. It'll be a surprise.
All right. Awesome. And I promise you, so for the next office hours that I'm here, you are gonna see my face. The new one. Not the headshot that y'all all are seeing. I don't look like that. I have much longer hair now. So y'all will get to see that on the next office hours.
I love it. Thanks so much for joining us, Adrian, and I'll chat with you later.
Thanks for having me, Crystal. Everyone have a good rest of your day or night. Bye-bye.
Bye.